What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in the West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck, joined by my guy, Big Dave. Bam! BAWL Sports. Our pound producer, Joey Spath, is on the controls. He's at Joey Spathis. We're CHGO_Bulls. Our guy, Will Gottlieb, off today.
Hooray!
He and Mark K will have an HQ for y'all on Thursday.
That's why I said hooray.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Hope you all have had yourselves a great Tuesday. Looking forward to more in-tournament quarterfinal action.
Yeah.
I mean, part one was pretty awesome last night, Dave.
Awesome, wasn't it? I'm a fan, man.
Tyrese Halliburton, tears.
Oh, man.
God, he is fun to watch.
He is fun to watch. I am a fan of the in-season tournament. I am. I'm a fan of it, man. They played like they cared. Like, it mattered to these teams. And what it does is it matters to those small market teams who don't really, get to the playoffs or win a lot and stuff like that. That stuff matters to them, man.
I can't remember who I saw on my Twitter feed last night, but after the Pacers won that game in dramatic fashion, somebody made note of the fact that this, young, small market Pacers team, I think there's like 3 or 4 guys on that roster that make less than $3 million this season.
Wow.
So for those players, 500,000, non-trivial number of dollars.
And something else I noticed that I didn't think of before, and I said it on Twitter yesterday, that this also shines light on those teams who don't get to be on national TV.
Right.
Because I was like, Indiana Pacers aren't on national TV. That's not what happens.
They weren't putting a lot of Pacers games on the nationally televised schedule.
Exactly. So the fact that now the world gets to see Tyrese Halliburton and just how really damn good he is really cool. It's really awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
I saw our old pal Nick Friedel getting dragged on Twitter today because he had a tweet about the in-season tournament mentioning about like the Lakers better win or the Knicks better win. Who wants to watch the Pacers, in an in-season tournament semifinal or championship game? Everybody was like, yo, Friedel. You kidding me? Dude, Halliburton is can't miss television right now.
Yeah, I think the issue also with that statement is it's a one-off. It's not a series.
Right.
It's one game.
It's one game.
That's it. It's one game. You're in, you're out. You go home. It's a woozy, it's a wazi.
Right. Also, I think people want to watch guys putting up 30-point triple-doubles with 0 turnovers.
I think that's fun.
Pretty damn impressive.
And that's it. It combines why people love the tournament so much. You like those small market teams in the tournament, the George Masons and the Loyolas, and guys like that. Like, you love that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's cool, man. But I saw people were mad. I shouldn't say mad, but disagreeing with you and I about our takes on it yesterday, which I don't care. But what bothered me is when you get it wrong. Like, if you're gonna disagree. The way we were saying was it can't matter when we're talking about the greatness of the player. That's what we're saying. Like, when that level comes up, that's where they were like, oh, you guys are wrong. You're on the wrong side of history. Nobody said we didn't like the tournament, though. Like, we're like, listen, it can't come up in a GOAT debate like that. That's what we're saying right there. It can't be on that level. Unless you win 3 of those in a row and you win 3 championships in a row in the same year. Okay. And you win MVPs in both. Okay, I can't say anything.
Never said it's not entertaining.
But the problem
was only making an argument about not including that kind of stuff in people's Hall of Fame resumes.
Correct.
That's all I was saying.
And the issue with it, and what I saw someone say that I'm like, oh, this is exactly what Matt is talking about, and why he take issue with this. Somebody said, well, now this is the new thing. So now he said the order is NBA championship, conference championship. No, NBA championship, in-season tournament, conference championship, MVP. No,
wrong,
brother. No.
Wrong.
No. I was like, this is exactly what Matt was talking about. That is exactly incorrect. It cannot be that way.
For winning your way out of a 4-game group play stage and then winning 3 games after that?
Get
out of here. Get out.
No,
Again, doesn't mean it's not entertaining.
Very.
Doesn't mean it's not entertaining.
Entertaining, all of that. But no. Over the MVP, 82 games? Are you kidding me? Stop.
Hype ran in the comments said, Jaden Ivey, screw that, go for Cam Thomas. I don't think Brooklyn knows what they have in him yet. Yeah. If you saw the headline for today, we are going to talk about these latest rumors going around that the Pistons might be involved or interested in being involved in these Zach LaVine trades that are theoretically days or weeks away. We'll talk about that later on. Including looking at a 3-way trade involving also the Knicks and also DeMar that our guy Will Gottlieb put up the other day.
Good.
I like it. Before that, though, we wanted to kind of pick up where we left off with a few more thoughts from yesterday's show when we were talking about the improved play of this young three the Bulls have.
Okay.
With not only Kobe, who we spent a great deal of time talking about yesterday's show, how much he's been shining recently, not only catching fire from three, but what he's shown us on the defensive end, what he's shown us with his decision-making, playing off the ball, even as Will was pointing out his decision-making playing off the ball. But touching a bit more on what Pat and Ayo have also done with these increased minutes over the last handful of games when you've got Zach out, you've got Caruso missing some time. So where do you want to start with Pat or start with Ayo, Dave?
Let's start with Ayo.
Okay, so we mentioned it yesterday's show at the very end. We'll mention it again now. Ayo's last 3 games, he's averaging 13 points, 2 boards, 3.7 assists, 2 steals. Ayo playing that defense, and shooting nearly 60% from the field.
Ooh, that's the sexy.
Ayo's confidently taking those middies, that he was knocking down in their win over the Pelicans on Saturday. He is, I think, starting to feel a bit more confident when he gets open looks at 3. Yeah. They aren't quite falling like you would want, but it's not his second season when the 3-point shooting just fell off a cliff. Yeah. I feel like Ayo's regaining some of that shooting confidence. But the thing you have to love the most is that when he is out there, he sees and takes advantage of those opportunities in transition. He scans the floor when he is either the one getting the board on the defensive glass or getting the quick outlet pass, and will quick scan, and if he sees an opportunity, he's taking it.
More so than any of his 2 previous seasons, and it's early, obviously. This is the most Illini version of Ayo that I've seen. And percent shooting. That's that mid-range stuff. That's exactly what he was doing when he was at Illinois. That mid-range shot was deadly for him, going into the lane, coming out of it, and then taking the mid-range shot. And when you see it happen, if you haven't been watching him, in your head, you're trained to go, no. Oh, like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, it's a lot of that, unless you've been watching him like we have for a while. But he has been awesome. Ayo is right now having a career low in points, field goal percentage, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, but his field goal percentage is awesome.
Right.
His efficiency from the 2-point percentage is awesome. And this is in less minutes. This is in 17 minutes. You know what I mean? But, of course, it's increased since Zach's been out. But it's the best he's played. I'm like, he's averaging less than all of that, but it feels more complete in the games that we've seen.
People in the comments chiming in. Fish saying Ayo looks like Ayo, as steady as they come. NHK20 saying Ayo is the Bulls' Swiss Army knife. He transforms into what the team needs in the moment. And meanwhile, Sports Chicago Style appreciates Dave having the games out today. The thing about, we were talking about Kobe's decision-making yesterday. I think Ayo's decision-making, plus his confidence, that's sort of regained confidence with his shooting, is helping this Bulls team that in these last couple of games, with DeMar playing more of a facilitating role, at least through the first 3 quarters on Saturday, and then without DeMar or Zach in the game previous to that, the Bulls playing faster, which is something they said they wanted to do and were failing miserably at doing. Coming into those last couple of wins, they were dead last in the NBA in pace of their offense. Yeah. Ayo always seems to want to get that pace up when it's advantageous. And this is actually... This is something that Billy Donovan said, and it's in our guy Will Gottlieb's latest column that's up now, ALLCITY.com, talking about Kobe and talking about creating more and better looks from 3, upping the team's 3-point rate, upping the team's corner 3-point rate, and Billy talking about how they've created some of those opportunities. Talking about when the Bulls get full court press and then beat that pressure, get downhill and spray it out. We've seen Kobe do that. We can even see Ayo do that. But then even when Ayo beats whoever, is maybe half trying to guard him in transition, not just getting to the paint to then spray it out, but just get to the paint to score. Like Ayo's transition layups have given the Bulls offense a boost these last few games. And I love this quote from Billy because I feel like it relates directly to what we see Ayo do. Okay. This is from Billy. The 2 hardest things to do in the NBA, closing out to guard the ball and getting back in transition. Those are the 2 hardest things to do defensively. We can't let teams off the hook when we create those situations. We've got to be able to capitalize a little bit better. Ayo seems to be the one player thus far this season who is always trying to create and then take advantage of that opportunity that Billy's talking about. Find your ways to get easy points for this team that is still struggling to catch up with the rest of the league with their three-point shooting, that does not have a great half-court offense. Find ways to take advantage of weak or unattentive transition defense. Ayo's doing it every minute he's out on the floor.
It feels like he's been doing it since the season started, too.
Yeah.
The way he's been scoring kind of, and I've said this to you before on the show, the game within the game kind of thing. That's kind of what he's doing. It's scoring in places where the Bulls have little tiny droughts where nobody else was hitting earlier in the season. Ayo was the one who would say, fine, I'm going to score. Okay, fine, I'll take this three. Okay, fine, I'll take this mid-range. Okay, fine, I'll go on the fast break and I'll score. And he was doing a really excellent job of it. What I like about, and watching him, Matt, when he gets that rebound and he goes, of course the first person I think of is Kobe White. I remember clearly how much I couldn't stand when Kobe White would do it. And he'd go 1-on-3. The difference with this is Kobe was going in without a plan. Kobe would figure it out as soon as he gets close to the rim, he figures it out. Ayo seems more calculated when he does it. He knows who's back, how fast that player is, how tall that player is, if I should pull it out or if I should keep going. And he's shifty in a way that's different, not better, but different than Kobe, because Kobe's damn sure shifty too. But Ayo is putting a shift on you before he even gets to the rim and kind of putting it into the mind of the defender. Wait, what's he going to do here?
Right.
Where it's more so not head down, gone. You know what I mean? Where you've already told me just what you're going to do. You're not even looking at me.
Right.
I know exactly what you're about to do. Ayo's a little more cerebral with it. And maybe that's because he's more of a quote-unquote pure point guard guy, because that's what he was. He won an award of being the best point guard in college. So that's kind of what he's always been. But it's just he's using his size, he's using his mind and his brain too, and he's using his athleticism to get to the bucket, to score. And his layup package is really solid too.
It's nice.
Let's not sleep on that either. His layup package is nice. But he's using all those things to make great decisions when he's getting there. And Matt, when he's getting there, if he doesn't, he's getting fouled.
Right.
Like he's getting to the actual free throw line. I believe shooting 77% from the free throw line. He wasn't shooting at a really high level last year as far as percentage, I'm saying. So 77 is awesome. But it just looks more confident and it looks more right when I watch him do it, going coast to coast, because he understands exactly who's there, who's with him. You know what I mean? If Drummond is going to tell him or not.
Right.
Like, I just like watching him do it, man. And it's really skilled.
Jose chiming into the comments saying, did you see Ayo's defense on Brandon Ingram that last game? His impact on defense is way underrated. I mean, you and I both had moments watching Ayo's defense in that game Saturday. We were like, damn, Ayo, that's some good defense. Yeah. Like, he's staying down.
Yes.
He's not biting as much on guys' moves when he's guarding on ball. He, I think, has made individual strides as an off-ball defender and is, I would say, one of the lesser often guilty parties when it comes to the Bulls and off-ball defense being an issue.
Yeah,
he fights over screens. He usually gets his off-ball switches right. Making hustle plays on top of all of that. The thing that I am curious about now, when we see Ayo put a stretch of solid games together like this, is where we and where Billy Donovan go from here in that. And it's kind of a curiosity for me with Pat, too, and we can touch on Pat in a second. But Pat seemed to have won back his starting job after Billy's brief Torrey Craig as a starter experiment. And the fact that Zach and Caruso have both been out for a handful of games obviously impacts Ayo more than Pat in Billy's rotation. So Ayo is averaging just 17 and a half minutes per game this season. In the wins over Milwaukee and New Orleans, he played 39 and 33 minutes, respectively.
Whoa.
How will Billy find a way, and will he try to find a way, if Ayo's playing like this, to give him more minutes? Because, remember we heard Billy say earlier this season, 9-man rotation is a lot more manageable. Yeah. But Ayo is showing us so much and showing me so much that I'm kind of shoehorning him in as a 10th man in my rotation, and some nights he's only playing 9 or 10 minutes, but I want to get him out there. And you get him out there for more minutes in 2 wins, And then when Zach comes back, assuming he does at some point, Caruso, I believe today's injury report, questionable to play tomorrow.
Probable.
Then what happens to Ayo's minutes?
No, that's a great question. Obviously, it won't be 30 plus. That won't be the case. Why I'm not concerned, Matt, is even though he's playing those 17, it's not the minutes that he has, it's what he's doing with them while he has them. I notice him every single time. He doesn't disappear. I know when he's out there. And it's on Billy to know when to have him out there and when to remove that. And I'm not talking put him out there, 20, 30 minutes. I'm saying within that 17 minutes that he has, how am I going to utilize that throughout these quarters to spread him out? Mm-hmm. Do I bring him in early? Do I bring him in late in the second quarter and just let him finish out the quarter? Like, he has a lot of options he can do. What I'm saying is, however he's been doing it, it's been working. It's really been good for Ayo Dosunmu as far as in his lesser minutes. Like, it's really he's really impacting the game in less minutes. That is awesome. And he's not a guy who's going to be complaining. He's going to always be ready. Mm-hmm. He's not a guy who has to get some of his feet wet, before he gets going.
Right.
As soon as you put him on the floor, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm in. I'm good. He's that kind of professional and that kind of athlete. So that's why I don't concern myself. He's one of those guys I'm not worried about. Guys like Javon Carter, I might be more concerned with because he has shown he's got to get off, to a good start.
Yeah.
And then he can get going, like that. Stars are like that a lot throughout the league. They just got to get their feet wet, keep going like that. Ayo's not like that, man. You put him out there, he's going. He's going to impact it from the moment he steps on the floor. And that's important, and that's very, very key because that allows Billy to delegate minutes better, in my opinion, because I know what you're going to do with these 17 that I'm giving you. Mm-hmm. That allows me to delegate it a little easier to Alex Caruso and delegate it easier to Patrick Williams, and guys like that. And then it allows me to play with these lineups even more. Let's go with the small ball lineup here, right here. Oh, let's just run you at the point. Let's run you at the 2. Let's run you at the 3. It allows you to play with it for a limited amount of time. And because it's going to impact the game in some kind of way. Like, for me, it's a great problem. And I don't even think it's a problem. You know what I mean? It's just a great thing to have on your team, a guy who's that professional and that ready to play no matter how many minutes he's in there.
Football, Candy chiming in saying, I think the way Ayo's playing and the changes in long-term objectives, maybe, talking about this team rebuilding and trading off some guys midseason, I think Ayo has to be the priority either as sixth man or leaving Caruso out there, leaving Caruso out to rest. Please let AC get healthy.
Help!
That's, yeah.
Help!
Are you sure you need to play tomorrow, AC?
I mean, seriously, you know what I mean? Like, allow Ayo to continue to get these minutes, man, because this is I'm being candid right here.
Right.
This is the team I'm trying to see.
Whereas we're saying, man, like, this is a really tough situation with Zach and his trade situation. Maybe he needs to go out there and play a handful more games before they trade him and look good doing it. So maybe the Bulls could get a bit more back than they might be getting offers of right now. With Caruso, it's like, yo, bubble wrap, ice bath. Half the league is already calling the Bulls about this guy.
Already.
They all know what he can do.
Already.
He is a reigning first-team all-defense guy and still looks like that guy this season when he's on the floor.
Like, would you be more – who would you be more surprised to still hear after December, 15th when that stuff happens? Who would you be more surprised, Alex Caruso or Zach LaVine?
I mean, whether it's December 15th or later than that, if you're asking me which one would I be more surprised to see still here in a Bulls jersey?
Yeah.
Zach. We all know Zach's getting traded. It's unavoidable. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if. It terrifies me because I think that they need to maximize this Caruso trade value right now as opposed to waiting, which is what they did with Zach and what they're doing with DeMar.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if the Bulls are like, no, we love AC too much, we value him too much, we're not going to trade him.
But that's why I said December 15th, because it would surprise me a little bit if Caruso is still here. Only because I know half the league is calling you now for this, and everybody's ready to cash in now.
Doesn't mean the Bulls are ready to cash out.
I know. I know.
Takes two to tango.
I know, man. Yeah, you better have this dance. I don't know. I know, but that's why it was surprising.
I want to see what the dance floor looks like after Zach is off of it before I go on the dance floor with you.
Because
about Alex Caruso.
Because that's the point. You just made the point right there. Like if it's anybody I'm trying to not play, it's Alex Caruso. Like he's the one. I don't want you to play. One, because I want to get the best for you, but two, I get to see Ayo more.
The risk of Caruso's trade value dropping increases by playing him.
Boom. That's a fact.
As opposed to
Zach.
He's
got to get out there and play to, increase his value more so he can go where.
Right.
But we'll get into Zach a little later.
We will get into Zach later. Okay, so with Pat, last 6 games, nearly 14 points, nearly 5 boards. 5 boards? He's almost got his average up to 5 boards.
Wait, what? Did you just say that?
Over the last 6 games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Joey, throw the parade. Where's the horn? Oh, my God.
1.8 combined steals. The Bucks shooting 52.5% from the field. Finally, his 3 ball is starting to fall. He's shooting nearly 42% from 3 over these last 6 games. Thus far this season, Pat is averaging a career low 24.7 minutes per game. He has, over the last 4 games, averaged 32 minutes per game. Do you feel in this stretch of games recently that Pat is on his way to earning more minutes?
Yes. In this stretch of games recently, yes. You have to be. I mean, you can't. Joe, can you put those numbers back up, please? You have to be on your way to earning minutes when you're doing that after your minutes were taken away from you because you were playing, putting up Tony Snell's stat lines starting or coming off the bench. You were putting up those stat lines. So if you can do this in the last 6 games, 13-4 with a block, 50% from the field, and 41 from 3, which is the best part to me is the 41 from 3, because that was the part I was least concerned about with Patrick Williams, and it became a concern out of nowhere, and I don't like it. But he's earned, he still has trust he has to earn back, because Matt and I sit here and continually say it's about the consistency with Patrick Williams, and that's what we have to see. So 6 games of it is awesome. I want more. It has to be more. And to get more, you got to play more minutes. So I feel like he's earning it. I don't want to tell him that he's earning that because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to give it to him. Like, Pat, you got it. And he's job accomplished.
Right.
Like,
all right,
I don't want that.
To sit and rest on my laurels. It's like, man, you still really haven't done shit.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, right.
Also, let's not forget contract year.
Yep.
Contract year.
He can't, and I don't want him to ever lose sight of that's what's going on right now. It's a contract year for Patrick Williams. But yeah, he's playing so much better. And for me, it's more noticeable on the defensive end than it is with his scoring. I didn't even notice that he was averaging double-digit figures, you know what I mean, in points. I was more so just looking at, like, oh, my God, look at what he's doing defensively out here. Like, he is locking down at least 2 players when you're watching him play a defense on that side of the ball. He is causing straight-up havoc. And he's in there, and he's a machine because that's how he's built. It looks like he doesn't even breathe hard. You know what I mean? Like, I barely see him sweat, and he's playing a nice, solid amount of minutes. But, my God, dog, Patrick Williams is a force defensively, y'all. Like, if anybody out there likes watching defensive basketball or junkies like Matt and I who just sit and watch any kind of basketball, if you like watching guys play, like, for real, just watch what Patrick Williams is doing out there on the floor. It is impressive, man. Like, the deflections that he's getting, the help blocks.
Yeah.
For me, it's not just the blocks, it's the help blocks, because that means you're watching everything that's happening on defense. He's getting those too now, and then he's getting out on the break and going in transition. Then we saw him hit you with the Euro step. You know what I mean? Like, those things come when you're playing well on one side of the ball. The other side of the ball becomes a little bit easier for you, you know? And with Patrick, defensively, he's playing really well on that side of the ball. So it feels like the offense is becoming a little bit easier for him, getting in there and scoring. And like I said about Ayo, he's getting to the free throw line. That is crazy. Yeah. We're not used to watching Pat shoot free throws, but he's actually doing that.
A few games ago when he had 6 free throw attempts. What? damn near broke my brain.
My brain and my mind, too. It's hurting. I couldn't understand what was going on. But I enjoy watching that stuff, man. Patrick Williams it's just watching him, you're like, yes, you just want to see it to continue to grow. I said this before, and I'll say this again about Patrick. I never thought it was this year for Patrick. I thought it was next year for Patrick.
Yeah.
That I would really see that growth. That I would see him put it together like people are waiting for. I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year that it's going to come. Maybe it's because of the contract. I don't know. This is just my feeling, about how I feel about him. Seeing him play like this just makes me feel better about that statement that I've been making for a couple months right now.
We'll see when some of these trades go down. Maybe trades in addition to the Zach trade, which we'll talk about in a second. But with the back 2/3 of this season, whether it's Pat, whether it's Aya, whether it's Kobe, if they are given more opportunities to be the ones out there making plays, what kind of additional growth might we see? Because I know that's what Bulls fans are desperate for.
That's a great point.
Talking about player development or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And finally, the front office waving the white flag of defeat on this core of Zach, DeMar, and Vooch and looking towards the future.
Yeah.
What else might these younger guys show us at the back end of this season?
Okay, let's do this. The things I've seen Patrick Williams do with this young core that I haven't seen him do in the past couple of years. Alley-oops. That's one thing. That takes a connection. I've seen him do that with Kobe White. Mm-hmm. They obviously have a connection together. They like each other. They cool with the Carolina boys. They have it like that. The defense, like I just mentioned, getting better because he has more time. He'll have more time on the floor if everything's kind of cleared out for him. Offensively, the transition is what I'll be looking at for Patrick Williams. I think he's been better in transition in these past 6 games. I mentioned the Euro step, that he had, which was awesome.
Yeah.
The way he's getting to the bucket. Let's talk even the overtime game.
Against the Bucks.
Yes, where after the steal, Caruso finds him inside, he goes in transition and gets the dunk.
Right.
Or after the steal that he gets himself and then goes to the bucket and finishes at the rim. He's been better for me in transition in these past couple games than I can remember. Now, of course, he's still got to learn how to dribble, you know what I'm saying, with the other hand. He's got to do that. He still has to develop an actual move, which I think will come when you have more time on the floor to figure that stuff out. But this is what gets you blocked by Giannis when you go up with your left hand. It's Giannis. You can't do that.
I mean, these multiple summers with DeMar, I have been like, Pat, what are you working on? It's clearly not the handles.
So it has to, right. Are you working on the shot? What are you working on? What things are you working on here? And I know when his certain shot is coming because it's telegraphed. And if I know it's coming, then they know it's coming. Because, again, I'm just a dude who gets paid to sit here and talk about it and drink beer. If I know it's coming, they damn sure know it's coming.
Yeah.
So that's why it continues to get stopped. But that's why I think that's what's been increasing, though, Matt. Just giving him more time on the floor. And, again, he had to earn it because he didn't deserve it before. But he's now starting to earn it a little bit more because it's starting to come a little bit easier to him. And I think it's just going to click at some point in time for Patrick Williams. And I think it's clicking a little bit right now for him. But I think it helps that the fact that he's playing with guys that he actually likes playing with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got to take our first break. Then when we come back on the other side, we'll dive into this, talk about the Pistons maybe being in on Zach LaVine.
You like that, Joe?
While we're sharing these words from our friends and sponsors, you know what to do out there in Bulls Nation. We got 185, 190 people watching, only 20 likes. Come on, y'all. Let's get the thumbs up.
Thanks for hanging
do it
out
for our
there.
pal Joey. He wants y'all's thumbs.
He does.
Point it upwards. Helps us out a lot. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you also subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel if you aren't already. Today's CHGO Bulls brought to you by DraftKings. Get your bets in for the in-season tourney quarterfinals going down tonight. In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets just by putting $5 down on any NBA action. Could be a spread, could be an over-under, could be, a player prop that you might like tonight. Knicks Bucks is the first game. Suns Lakers in the night game. All kinds of stars out.
Stars are
for all 4 of these teams.
Stars at
Make
night.
your bets. Make them at DraftKings. Take advantage of that offer. $150 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using promo code CHGO. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with that code CHGO. Take advantage. $150 in bonus bets instantly for $5 on tonight's NBA action. The crown is yours.
Hey, Joey, how many pairs of sweatpants do you have, man?
A lot.
Joey, what time is it?
Game time.
Trying to catch him off guard?
No, I was giving him one. That's like, let me give Joey one. Let me toss it to him right there. But you see, prepared. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That comes from just
prepared
over 2 years of me yelling at him constantly to be ready. I knew it was going to click. It's Patrick Williams. It's going to click at some point in time, man. He's been getting up at 4 a.m. coming to my DeMar DeRozan camp of ad reads. And he's been awesome with it, man.
Thanks for not inviting me to those.
Shout out, Joey. Oh, yeah. What? You either just getting in or something. You know what I mean? There's no way. I'm waking you up at 4 a.m. That's terrible. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater events nearest you with Eller. Last-minute deals, all-in prices, views on your seats, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the place. No. It is the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. And with zone deals, you pick the section, Game Time does the selecting. For an average savings of, Matt Peck, drum roll, please, 18%! Pew. At Game Time Guarantee means you'll always get the best price possible. So, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Because Matt Peck, what time is it?
Game time! Who?
Just a little lay right there. Hey, man, shout out Sarah. I was watching the White Sox show. Shout out Herb. Shout out Vinny. Shout out Sean.
All of our various baseball crews. Still down in Nashville.
Still down in Nashville. Meetings. This is before they had left. That Sarah, we were talking about robot umpires, and Sarah in her head thinks it's like actual robot umpires that will be back there.
Like Jetsons made umpire.
Literally, that's what Herb said. He literally said Rosie from the Jetsons. That's exactly what he said. Yes, and I was thinking in my head, first of all, she has no idea who that is. She don't know.
The Jetsons? No.
There's no way
that's a little too old for Sarah.
Yeah. Joey, you know the Jetsons?
Yes.
What? How?
George Jetson.
Is it because it's George
I used
Pappas?
to watch Cartoon Network.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Boomerang. Yeah, it was on.
Boomerang. Shout out Boomerang. Yes, you're right about that. That's true. But I found that hilarious. Like, just... She thinks there's going to be real robots, C3PO.
An actional, three-dimensional robot standing behind home plate. Give it to me. Give it to me. They could all have different, fancy, weird, like personalized ways of doing their punch-out, moves after strikeouts.
Oh, that would be cool, actually.
Yeah. With like go-go gadget limbs and things. God, it would be awesome.
What happens, though, like when you want to disagree?
Let's just punch that robot on the face.
Oh my God. Okay.
Bring out the next one.
This is
got to have like 2 or 3 backup ump robots at every ballpark, every game.
So Matt Peck is basically, this is going to be a $3 billion project.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. They made BattleBots a show that worked for years.
That's fair.
They can figure it out.
George, you watch BattleBots?
Yes.
Did.
Great.
No, in college, like retroactively for the humor of it. With my friends.
Retroactively
figured out ways to turn BattleBots into a drinking game.
Yeah, it was like fun to like. we would pick who we liked on the at the beginning and yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But not as like a child. I didn't watch that.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Sports Chicago style said, "Strike Will Robinson."
Well done, Joey doesn't get that one, but that's a good one.
All right, let's talk Zach LaVine. Let's talk Pistons.
Danger.
In case you missed it, Joe, do you have that clip of Bobby Marks talking on the Sirius XM's NBA channel the other day about the Detroit Pistons? Here we go.
what, 2-17. I would not be surprised if they stick their toe in the Zach LaVine to see what his market is and see if we can get a guy who's making, a former All-Star who we couldn't get in free agency. And if it doesn't cost us much, maybe just cost us a bunch of expiring contracts and maybe one of the younger kids that they go out and do something like that. That would be a kind of a team I would just keep an eye on as far as with LaVine. Detroit is, 2-17. I would not be surprised if they stick their toe in the Zach LaVine to see what his market is and see if we can get a guy who's making.
Thank you, Joe. So that was Bobby Marks talking about the Pistons maybe being a team that would dip their toe into the Zach LaVine trade pool. And like his reasoning there, his logic, I don't think is off base in any way. Small market team that really couldn't lure a player of Zach LaVine's caliber in free agency.
True.
Could maybe make a deal for him while also doing a thing or two for themselves as far as their books are concerned, taking on a contract that big. And let's be honest, this Pistons team needs shooting.
Bad.
It needs shooting and creative, confident scoring.
Yes.
They have all these fun, young, interesting prospect kind of pieces that aren't gelling yet. And for all the things that Bulls fans are talking about with our issues of Zach LaVine and, not a winning player, that's what Woj was saying again when Woj said the thing about there is no market for Zach LaVine right now, just a few days prior.
Only we could say that.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. I like Bobby Marks' reasons for the Pistons maybe being interested in Zach makes sense to me. What do you think about it, Dave?
It makes sense. My first thought was, damn, I feel bad for Zach, to be honest. Because I'm like, he's not going to a winning team. Like, I went from Minnesota to Chicago to Detroit. Damn. That's tough. But it makes sense. First of all, 2-17. Whew.
One of those two wins.
We understand it's from the Bulls. Yes. They had a nice night. And then they failed miserably against everybody else afterwards. I can't wait to play them again.
You know what's funny, though? The Pistons, who are 2-17, those two wins came consecutively. So even the Pistons had consecutive wins this season before the Bulls did.
How about those losses, though, Matt? 15 in a gap, 17 in a row? That's a lot, all right? So congratulations on your consecutive wins. Good job. Now you're looking at Zach LaVine like, guys, can we talk about it? You know what I mean? Can we have a discussion? It does make basketball sense, though. You need help when you're 2-17, and I don't care what kind of help. Whatever you're doing isn't clicking, isn't working, and it sucks because Monty Williams, I believe, is the second highest paid coach in the NBA right now. So I don't think that's
like the local media in Detroit. Some of the stuff people are lambasting Monty Williams, and it was like, man, he was up until taking this job, and based on his performance in recent jobs, being like, man, like one of the most respected coaches in the league. Like, look what Monty Williams can do with these young rosters, and that's why Detroit hired him, I presume.
Because they thought that they were ready to take that step. You know what I mean? They thought that they were ready to go forward and be that team. And it looked like it when you win 2 games straight. You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, we look like something right now. And then you're like, oh, we got to play everybody else? Oh, that's going to be a problem right there. So they've struggled. I think the question for me is, what do we get?
Right.
And what are you giving us back? Because, again, your GM should be taken into I don't know. I don't even want to say fired, but he should be looked at. After I'm reading that the other GMs were offering you 2 first-round picks for Bogdanovic last year.
Couldn't let him go,
you're like, nah.
Couldn't let him go.
We got to keep Bogan on our team. 2 first-round. I don't care who it was from. 2? And you're like, no, that's a problem. I don't know if you're equipped to be running the team if that's the case.
Right.
We're over here trying to just get a pick, for Zach LaVine or a pick for DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
And we'll be happy with that. And you turning down 2 of them things from this dude? Get out of here. So obviously they haven't been making great decisions, when it comes to that. I'm very interested, and I'm glad you say that, Chocolate Salty, because I am interested in what Clutch Sports has to say about this, because they are always about getting their players in the best position possible to be themselves or to continue their career on a trajectory where they could be talked about among, those good kind of players. Sending them to Detroit, I don't know if that's the case, but it's the best deal, though, for the Bulls.
I mean, let me tell you this. As a Bulls fan and not an agent who works for Clutch, I don't give a damn how Clutch thinks about this. Take the best offer.
Talk to him.
I don't give a damn.
Talk to him.
Saying you and saying Ivy and a couple of picks for Zach, sign me up. Okay, so that seems rich to me. I don't think it's impossible that the Bulls can maybe coerce the Pistons into giving up Ivy. But I feel like there's been an interesting wrinkle in this recently because the Pistons have a lot of young players.
Sure.
Obviously still, Cade Cunningham, the piece, and complementary pieces around him. So obviously, Ivy, 5th overall pick in last year's draft. Because of Cunningham's injury last year, he ends up starting 73 games, averaging 31 minutes a game. He averages 16, over 5 assists per game. Shooting numbers weren't great, but rookie year, okay.
What else you got?
Now, this season, his minutes have plummeted from 31 to 23 because you got Cade Cunningham back in the fold.
Yeah.
But the Pistons are now also juggling other injuries to other key players. Monte Morris is out 6 to 8 weeks. So he had been primarily coming off the bench in a diminished role. Now, all of a sudden, he started 6 of their last 7 games and playing more minutes. So it's like, where on that scale of off limits, not will never trade list versus might be willing to trade list is Jaden Ivey for the Pistons right now? That's the big question.
In my opinion, you got to be willing to trade whoever on this team when you're 2-17. Whoever. Hey, Julia. Anybody on your team is available to be traded when you've lost 17 in a row. Period. I don't care who. I don't even care if it's Monty Williams. Everybody's available to be traded when you get off to that kind of start, Matt, because whatever you have ain't working. Period. Like, it ain't working, dog. It ain't clicking. It ain't going forward. It's not looking nice or anything like that. 17 straight losses, y'all. Look, we as Bulls fans were ready to trade everybody after like 2 or 3. We were like, get the hell out. Like, what are you doing here? 17? And what are you holding on to? Who are you talking to? What are you doing here? There's nothing that you can sit and tell me that you can hold on to with that many losses. For me, that's a real loser mentality right there. Everybody should be available from Cade on down. Everybody should be available to be traded. So when you look at Zach, you know what he's going to bring. Obviously, I don't know if they have anybody on their team better than Zach. Let me say that. You can argue Cade Cunningham if you want to. That's cool. But I still don't know if he's better than Zach LaVine, honestly. Zach LaVine is special, all right? He's a ball player. The question is, how special do you think he is? I am curious, Matt. I am more so curious to see what Detroit is willing to give up. Because, again, this is a team who turned down 2 first-round picks for Bogdan. So what are you willing to give up to get a guy like that?
That was before they were 2-17, though.
That's a great point. But they still were ass. It wasn't like they were just, killing the world last year. They still were trash. Here's what I'm thinking in my head. And I hate it when they got Jaden Ivey. I couldn't stand it because I like Jaden Ivey coming out of college a lot, and I still like Jaden Ivey. If you want to give me Jaden Ivey, cool. Jaden Ivey is one of those guys, though, Matt, that I talked about in the last segment about Ayo. He is one of those guys that's got to get his feet wet. If he's going to be an impactful player for your team, he is one of those guys that has to get in there and has to play and has to be, a guy looked at not so much as a guy, but has to be looked at, you know what I mean, at some point in time. If the Bulls are starting over with this youth movement and going forward with that, I don't see a problem with getting Jaden Ivey. Give me a pick with it. Send him on over. Outside you, Zach LaVine.
And look, I think it was.
And give me Cade Cunningham too. I'm just playing.
Eco being in the comments who brought up, Jalen Duren. Give me him instead. Or somebody also just brought up Asar Thompson. Those, I think, are players who, because of the way they're playing and the looks of their ceiling, would make the Pistons willing to give up Jaden Ivey.
Yes.
I see Jaden Ivey as a piece that the Pistons are more likely to put in a trade offer for Zach than either of those two.
And for me, it's because you just got them.
Right.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be on the trading block. I'm saying that's the reason why, is you just got them. You don't know.
Joe, did you want to chime in with something there?
17, Joe.
I don't 17, remember. Joe. I don't remember.
Okay.
17 losses, Joey, is all I'm saying. 17 losses. Jaden Ivey. I've always liked Jaden Ivey.
I like Jaden Ivey too.
I like him a lot, and I think he brings a lot to a team. But my God, man, when you've lost 17 in a row, like imagine how he was feeling during this losing streak and he wasn't getting those minutes.
Yeah.
They still wasn't. The only reason he's getting these minutes, like you mentioned, is because of the injuries.
Right.
So what is he doing that you have to keep me on the bench? And listen, I trust in Monty Williams. He can coach.
Right.
All right. That dude is skilled. So is it something that he's seeing? Or is he saying you just don't fit with this kind of offense, you know what I mean, that I'm running right here? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not working and it's not clicking.
Ivy to me is like the highest ceiling type of that range is I think the highest ceiling that you're gonna get because you're a year removed from him being a top 5 pick. Yeah. People thought was going to be a consensus top 4 pick and was a really good prospect, and I can't see them doing much better than that.
Yeah, I see Eagle being saying he can't shoot. That's cool, but when you're in year 2? Mm-hmm. Year 2.
I mean,
I can figure that out.
So far, he's been a fine shooter this year.
So, look, he's basically between last season and this season somewhere between 3 and 4.5 3-point attempts per game, and he's shooting it at 35%.
It's not terrible
for a first and second year player.
Yeah,
I can live with believing that player can turn into an even better shooter.
I agree.
Those are fine numbers for a first-year player.
Honestly.
Second-year player.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, 75% from the free throw line as well, which is a sign
right.
And he can get to the line.
More to come.
Yeah.
He really can get to the line. He has that kind of skill. So, but would that be a trade, though, that interests you? A Zach LaVine, Jaden Ivey, and some picks trade?
Well, so the and some picks part is, I think, what would make it interesting. Obviously, you'd have to throw in some filler. Most likely, Bogdan
Bogdanovic.
They have some contracts, right?
What?
Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, we can, if you want, dive into the proposed trade of Will Gottlieb because that involves contract filler and also an entirely additional team.
Well, then let's say some ads and then we'll go.
Well, let's do that then. Yeah.
I like that. I like that, Matt. I like that a lot.
And then we'll talk about Isaiah Hartenstein and Evan Fournier being added in as fillers on a 3-team trade.
Oh! Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. They gave us microphones.
Why? Dave, tell the people about Hero Bread while I hit the thumbs up button.
Delicious is what it means. Hero is bread for delicious. That's what it means. When you see Hero, that's the first thing popping in your head. Delicious, tasty, awesome, low calories, low carbs, and good bread, y'all. They have so many wonderful other bread. Like they got the tortilla wraps you can get. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They got the buns that you can get as well. It's not just the bread alone, but I rock with Hero Bread. Shout out to my guy who told me that after hearing one of my ads, he sent his wife out to go get some Hero Bread.
Wow.
Shout out to him.
How about that?
Shout out for that. And he said, you're right. It's good. You know why? Because I'm not here to lie to y'all. You know what I mean? When I read these ads, I mean it. I had it. I tasted it. It's awesome. I promise you, if Matt eats it and puts whatever he puts on a sandwich, what is it? The Italian? What is it? The pepperoni or salami? The
pepperoni, salami, ham, and bacon.
And bacon? You want some cheese on it too?
Oh, you know it.
Throw that on there, man. Put that on some Hero Bread. Delicious. It'll be amazing. Joey, what's your sandwich? What you got?
I agree with I like a turkey sandwich. Is good. Chicken.
Nice turkey sandwich. You want some lettuce and tomato on that?
Sure.
Little bacon?
Yeah,
turkey
sure.
sub.
What kind of cheese you want?
Pepper jack.
Pepper jack cheese. Put that together. Any mayo, mustard?
A little mayo, maybe.
Little mayo on there, light mayo.
Ranch. I don't know.
Ooh, a little ranch. Getting a little fancy on them, Joe, right there. Little ranch on ya. You can get all that and enjoy it when you put it on 2 pieces of Hero Bread, and you will be happy. 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving, y'all. High fiber, ultra low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar per slice, 45 calories per slice. That is Hero Bread, and those are facts. So right now, Hero Bread is offering the CHGO fam 10% off your first order. Just go to hero.co, use that code CHGO, ooh, that rhyme, to save on Hero Bread. When? Today. That's HERO.co to save 10% today when you use the code CHGO. Hero Bread to the rescue.
Matt, was that a School of Rock reference there? Turkey sub.
Turkey sub.
Who's got food? You're not going to get in trouble. I'm hungry.
You're going to get in trouble.
I'm hungry.
Okay. I'm going to hang over. Who knows what that means?
He's like, come on, let's go.
Doesn't that mean you're drunk? No, it means I was drunk yesterday.
Classic.
Today's CHGO Bulls also brought to you by ComEd. Dave, it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles.
Is it?
I know this. You know this.
Well,
now that I've told you.
Yeah.
That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet, Mother Earth, and the well-being of all of us who live on it and share it.
You are correct, Matthew Peck. The electric grid is evolving to meet with cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence toward an electric future, an electric tomorrow. My new single, on sale in 2 weeks, Electric Tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So what should those people out there who are business owners do about that, Dave?
Oh, I can't believe you asked me that question. Thank you, Matt. My God. Go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. But also, like Matt says, good for you. Nice. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
I said ComEd.com/clean. Go now and see how the electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
Electric Nexus.
We do this for y'all, Joey.
Hey. DR in the comments said trade DeMar as well. Well, funny you should mention that.
Oh.
So I believe it was Sam Amick of The Athletic, amongst other things, who had this in a report of his the other day, that a lot of teams around the league are expecting the Bulls to also field calls on DeMar and maybe also trade DeMar in the get something for him instead of letting him walk for nothing,
It's a thing.
rule or line of logic. And on top of that, whoever his sources are, named two teams that might be teams DeMar would be happy to go to in a midseason trade.
Yeah.
Miami, ew, gross, awful.
Yeah.
New York Knicks,
Ew,
also
gross,
ill,
awful.
gross, awful.
Yeah.
But to that end, our guy Will Gottlieb, along with the Bobby Marks, Pistons, maybe want Zach news of the past couple days, concocted himself a 3-team trade between the Bulls, Pistons, and Knicks.
Let's do
I want to
it.
get your thoughts on this. I want to get the thoughts of everyone out there in Bulls Nation.
Okay.
Because I've seen this, and Bulls fans might first look at this and be like, man, you're giving up Zach and DeMar, and this is all you're getting back? I don't know. But again, you have to be realistic about what the Bulls could get for DeMar, an aging vet who's on an expiring deal and will want a new multi-year contract next summer, and Zach, who is not playing well. So, in this 3-team trade, I'll lay it out for you, Dave. The Bulls get Jaden Ivey, Marvin Bagley III, and Joe Harris from the Pistons, along with the 2026 first-round pick from the Pistons. They also get, from the Knicks, Isaiah Hartenstein, Evan Fournier, mostly as contract filler, and then a 2024 first-round pick that is currently owned by the Knicks, owed to them by the Pistons, that is heavily protected in 2024. So you're giving up Zach, you're giving up DeMar. You're bringing in Ivy, Bagley, Harris, Hartenstein, Fournier, a 2026 first from the Pistons, a 2024 first from the Knicks via the Pistons that is protected 1 through 18 in 2024. And then gets conveyed with slightly lesser protections on it.
Before Big Dave sinks his teeth all the way in, can I just say one thing?
Please do.
This is my thoughts on the matter.
Do it! Just do it!
In the words of the Backstreet Boys, Joey, tell me why.
I just think, break it down. I already spoke my piece on Ivy. I think he's the highest ceiling guy or of that ilk that you're going to get. Top 5 pick, unbelievable athleticism, still a lot of room to grow. We've seen, especially being a lead guard in the NBA, takes multiple years to put it all together. So still have a lot of faith in him. Potentially being a player that could be like a real cornerstone for you, which I don't think is coming up in all of these trades that we have seen. Like, I think he's one of the actual guys that can be somebody that can be a real like piece to build around and not a complimentary piece. And I just think when you break it down, you look and you say a good young player and a pick for Zach and then a pick for DeMar, and it lines up. And granted, you're moving Dalen Terry, and then there's a lot of moves on the fringes of the roster. But when I look at Ivy and then 2 first-round picks coming in, it's intriguing to me.
I mean, as Brandon in the comments pointed out, the pick via Detroit from New York actually feeling more like a second-round pick than a first. I mentioned to you, Dave, that it's protected 1 through 18 in 2024. There's no way it's conveying in 2024 because the Detroit Pistons, who are 2-17,
they're getting a high pick,
will be somewhere from 1 to 18 in that draft lottery. In 2025, it's protected 1 through 13. I don't know, how quickly the Pistons can turn things around, but pretty good chance that they're still 1 through 13 somewhere in the 2025 draft. In the 2026 draft, it's protected 1 through 11. So again, another year further, and the protection shrink. Maybe if the Pistons build something here, it conveys. It's protected 1 through 9, picks 1 through 9 in 2027. If the Pistons are still picking in the top 10 of the draft in 2027, essentially, it's conveyed into a second-round pick. So it's like 1 1/4 first-round picks.
Yeah, but you're still getting a pick. The key of all this is getting.
You're still getting Jaden Ivey, and you're still getting a 2026 pick from the Pistons.
Right. Even though that 2024, you said 1 through 18 protected. And that's not going to be a thing. Okay. The only reason I don't like this, the only reason is because I'm sending DeMar DeRozan to the Knicks. It's the only reason I don't like it. I don't want the Knicks to have shit. And sending him there would be an awesome move for them. They're already playing very well right now, and they are a very deep team. But sending a guy who's a bucket getter like him to Tom Thibodeau would I would hate it so, because that's success. Like, that is a good damn move, and I hate every second of it. But they are getting Drummond. Tibbs would hate him. Tibbs would hate Andre Drummond, dog. He wouldn't like him. He wouldn't. I would watch a sitcom of Tom Thibodeau and Andre Drummond, not only being a player-coach relationship, but also like sharing an apartment together. Why didn't you clean up today? Do your job. You just need to relax, man. And then he just falls ass backwards through a glass table. Like, I told you I had a big date. But that's honestly the only reason I don't like it. I think it's a very Will Gottlieb trade in a sense of it's logical and it makes sense. It makes sense for everybody involved. I think everybody in this trade is happy. Also, of course, I don't want to give up Dalen Terry, but it's okay. But I think everybody walks away with something that they would want.
Yeah.
Detroit will walk away with something they can build around. And Dalen Terry, who honestly they love him in Detroit. They also got Jericho Sims, who solid, honestly, really solid
good
player.
Young big man.
Yeah, so that's good for them. Knicks walk away, I mentioned, with Drummond, and walk away with DeMar DeRozan. That makes them super formidable in the playoffs.
Knicks maybe a playoff-bound team that needs a late-game bucket getter.
Yes, they need it. And it can't just be Jalen Brunson.
Right.
Because they can just put a tall person on them and then it's over.
Well, and he also,
But the Bulls getting back all those assets, I think works. And also getting Joe Harris back on a 1-year deal means you could probably move him again.
Right.
Honestly. And you could probably get something else for him because you're not going to get Joe Harris and keep him, in my opinion.
So, and that's the thing. Harris is one of many players in this proposed 3-team trade on expirings. So when and that's the other wrinkle that Will made note of when he made this 3-team trade. All of these contracts going and coming between these 3 teams. If this is the way it went down, all 3 of these teams would stay under the luxury tax.
Oh,
but for Jerry,
I told
music to his ears.
Will is always thinking, man.
Bagley has $12.5 million on his deal remaining in the 24-25 season.
That's my new Drummond.
Ivy has a club option that was exercised already by Detroit for $7.9 million next year. Then another club option, obviously on his rookie deal, $10.1 million in 25-26. Fournier, who you're bringing in just to even up contracts, is making 18, almost 19 mil this year, has a $19 million club option next year. You can let that go. Hartenstein, last year, expiring deal, unrestricted free agent.
Bye-bye.
Joe Harris, last year, expiring deal, unrestricted free agent.
Peace out. And also, Will threw that Hartenstein in because Will's a huge Hartenstein fan. Big fan. Yeah, I don't hate this. I think it's a solid trade.
Somebody
honestly.
In the comments who I just
hate that
misplaced it said don't waiting for 2026 for our first round pick when you're giving up Zach and DeMar to kind of start things over.
Well, you're gonna have one in 2024.
Nicholas then said this trade is kind of sad.
Honestly, honestly, it's okay for me to wait when I'm getting 2 first round picks in 2024. Your own. And the Detroit one.
But you're not.
The 26 one is the unprotected one, right?
Yeah.
The 26 one is the unprotected pick.
One and
that is intriguing, though. You are trading an unprotected. You are getting an unprotected first round pick from a team that has right now lost 17 games in a row. Obviously, they have a franchise player, Cade Cunningham. I am a very big Cade believer. I think he's going to be really good. Who the hell knows?
Right.
He could be traded. He could get hurt. That team could continue to suck as they have for most of this
they're not going to get better immediately.
Right.
They're going to suck.
That is a valuable asset to me. I agree. That's a 2026 first round pick from a team that could win the lottery this year. That's an asset.
That's an asset.
Eco Bean saying change Bagley to Duren. This trade sucks. Eco Bean, here's a reminder for you and anyone else out there. 2 teams have to agree on a trade. You think that the Pistons are giving up Duren and Ivy? No.
This is a team that turned down 2 first-round picks.
It's not happening.
For Bogdanovich.
That's not. And again, this is why. And I was laughing at Nicholas in the comments saying this trade makes me sad. This trade that Will came up with, probably most Bulls fans look at this and say, wait, we're giving up Zach and DeMar, and this is all we're getting back?
Right.
Jaden Ivey, a couple of expiring deals, maybe, a young guy in Bagley who could still turn into something, a first-round pick in a couple of years, and a pick with lots of protections on it. That's it? That's all?
What do you think you're getting?
What do you think you're getting?
Seriously, yo. Did you
We've
just
talked
not hear
about how the Bulls front office, by refusing to admit what is in front of them and drawing out the final strings of this shit, has done nothing but bring down the trade value of their assets.
My man.
That's where they are now.
Did you not hear what Woj said? It's not a market for the man right now. It's just not a market, bro. So when it's not a market for him, these are the kind of trades that you're going to have to make for him. You might like him. And again, I think all teams are kind of like this. When I was on Locked On Kings, shout out to my man, Matt George. When I was on Locked On Kings, he was saying the same thing about Kings fans. When I was offering up trades, he was like, yeah, but they don't understand that you have to give up something to get something.
Right.
And they're not going to want to give up anything that they, would like that. And I'm like, okay, and you're right, and I feel you, but Bulls fans have been like that for a long time. Keep all my toys, not giving you anything. You know what I mean? Like, here's a little crumb. You can have that right there. And give me your favorites and your best, and then we can roll on. It's not how this works, bro. That's not a market for the young man right now.
Interesting. We have someone named Amine in the comments saying, Pistons fan here. If we give up Jaden Ivey for Zach LaVine, I'll switch to being a Bulls fan because that would be a huge L for the Pistons.
See what I mean?
Case in point.
Case in point, dog. This is exactly what I mean.
High ceiling. Here. It gives us another chance.
Right
it's
here.
Just a swing. Throwing the dart.
He don't even want to give up Jaden Ivey. They gave up on Jaden Ivey. And they don't even want to trade him. They put Jaden Ivey on the bench. And they're like, nah, I don't want to hear that for Zach. This is what we're talking about right here.
I know it was a different draft, but to me, it's like them getting Ivy, and I still don't think it's gonna. Is like it would be like redemption for them not tanking at the deadline last year when they were 5 games under, because you're going and you're getting a guy who is a top 5 caliber pick who is still 22, 23 years old. Like you've retroactively solved. You at least now have somebody on that timeline. It makes a lot of sense to me.
NHK20 in the comments saying DeRozan is an expiring deal. How else are you going to extract value? That's one of the star players that you're giving up in this trade. The other star player is one who is currently not playing because he's hurt and or cranky. And before he took a seat because he's hurt and or cranky, he wasn't playing great.
And please understand, Zach LaVine is getting traded. Can we understand this and come to grips with this, guys?
Yeah.
He's getting traded.
LaVine said, be patient. The Bulls are where they are now because they were too patient. You want them to continue being patient? Look, unless you're saying, like, we're not saying you got to do this deal and you got to do it on December 15th or whatever. Maybe Eco Bean saying, like, let's wait until we get close to the trade deadline and see if some of those offers get a little bit of juice added to them.
I agree with that.
Fine.
That's fine.
Eco Bean also saying, so the Bulls trade a starter to the Pistons for a bench player.
But this is my point. The Pistons don't even want to trade the bench player.
And what are the Bulls winning this season?
Also,
like what
I just told you that he has started 6 of their last 7 games this season, and he started 73 games for them his rookie year and looked pretty darn good doing it.
Like, just like Dave said earlier, Zach LaVine's probably better than Cade Cunningham right now. What do you think the Pistons are saying if you're like, oh, we'll give you Zach LaVine for Cade, he's better? They're laughing you off the phone because part of what goes into trade assets and value is a future projection.
Right.
And that's the point of acquiring Ivy, who is 23 years old, incredibly athletic, toolsy, high motor, whatever you want to say, and at least saying maybe we'll take a chance on a guy with a really high ceiling.
Take a shot. Take a shot.
Take a shot. I could use a shot. All this trade talk stressed me out.
Let's go get one.
Real quick shout out before we wrap up to our friends at FOCO. Get fitted out with the best sports gear you need. If you need to do some more holiday shopping, check out what they have to offer at FOCO because it's a lot of everything. Whatever you're looking for. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Everything you need for tailgating season, which for you brave Chicagoans out there is still going on.
Shout out.
Plenty of fun tailgating weekends to have.
I ain't going to be there.
They got bags, they got straw hats, they got polos, everything you need for the game. Watching the game at a bar, watching the game at your tailgate. Maybe you're going to the game. Layer up with gear from FOCO. They also donated some cool stuff to our set here at our CHGO headquarters. Appreciate them for showing us that love. They'll show you love if you use promo code CHGO10 at checkout when you go to FOCO.com. That's FOCO.com. Or click the link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Again, that's all non-presale items. Promo code CHGO10 for 10% off your order.
Just a shot, Chief C saying that Woe's report is a bunch of BS. Do you guys actually believe that? No. We talked about that before. My point is that the report is out there. That's the point, is the fact that they're sitting saying there's nothing for you. Just to say it. I don't believe it at all. But the fact that it's being reported, because there's no really high-end guy I can sit and name you who you'll hear that about. You'll never hear that about James Harden at no point in time that it was happening. There's always a market for James Harden, all right? Russell Westbrook, you didn't hear that about. You know what I mean? Like those certain guys you didn't hear that about. That's what makes this like, damn, it's out there though. I don't believe it, but it's out there. So if that's what leads guys like my man who's a Pistons fan to be like, I'm not giving you Jaden Ivey, you know what I mean, to do this. It just puts you in a interesting position, bro.
Daryl Perry in the comments asking, Jaden Ivey has talent but needs to be developed. Is there any confidence that this staff could actually develop him?
You got confidence in that, Joe?
Yes, and I will point you to a future article coming out by Will the Goat Gottlieb.
That's right where I was going. So we talked a little bit about it in our show yesterday with Will about Kobe and some of his comments recently, working with the Bulls shooting coach and head of player development, Peter Patton, some of the other people on the staff that the Bulls have added in recently. Will had a sit down with Patton and some of the other members of his player development staff.
That's a flex.
At practice today. He has a piece coming out about that on Friday. most likely. TBD, but most likely Friday, talking about the player development staff of this team and some of the things that they're working on. So, again, don't believe it till you see it. If you're a Bulls fan, that's how you feel right now. I'm not faulting you. But there are, again, finally maybe some semblances of, as we talk about some of these younger guys who are playing better, maybe the Bulls finally learning how to develop their young talent and the ways in which they're doing it.
I'm for it.
Yes. A tentative yes. If the Bulls trade for a young player, if giving up Zach and or DeMar, I'm for it.
Let's keep watching the young guys tomorrow, man.
Let's do it. Bulls back in action tomorrow, taking on the Charlotte Hornets. We could be looking at a 3-game winning streak.
Hey! Don't get my hopes up,
Unbelievable.
Man. Don't get my hopes up.
We will be here for pregame before tip-off at 7, 6:30 pregame Chicago time. We will see you then. Until then, Will_Gottlieb is the Twitter follow for our guy, the GOAT. Big Dave Balby at WL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. Our pal producer, Joey Spathis. He's at Joey Spathis. Thanks for tuning in today. Hit the thumb on your way out if you didn't do it yet. We appreciate it. We will talk to you pregame tomorrow. See Red be good.
Gams!
We all silly like the mayor.